So today I'm finally getting around to filming my menu video. I've been promising this video to you for about a year almost, since I filmed my setup video. I did film it once and the boards looked really old and tatty because I hadn't replaced them for a couple of years, but I have just redone them all. They look beautiful, so I thought it was about time that I got filming for you. Now before we start, I just want to say sorry if the sound is really off on this video. The room I'm filming in is really echoey and I don't have a separate microphone for my camera. I only have my little microphone that I hold into, and I didn't really want to sit here presenting to you. I felt like a bit of an idiot. So I'm just using the microphone that's on the camera. Hopefully it's not too bad. Now, as you can see, I've got two boards that I use. This one is my word board and this one is my picture board. I love them both equally. Both of them have got advantages and both of them have got disadvantages, which I'm going to go through with you separately. But first of all, I just wanted to explain a little bit about what I have. So at the top, I have got my pricing. On the word board, you can see it's much bigger than it is over here. It says face painting on there, and it says face painting on here, but it needs to be bigger on your word board because people walking past, where there's no pictures here, they're not going to know at a glance what it is you're doing. So you need to have face painting really big and bold so they can see that that is actually what you're doing. On this board it can be quite small because, you know, you've got the faces there and it's obvious that you are face painting. With these signs, I've got my free one, and then if I was doing a paper face event, I've got some larger pricing signs that I can put on. I've got a smaller one for that board. Next to that, I have got my health and safety policy. Now this is a really good idea to have on your board. It explains to your customer before they join your queue who you can and who you can't paint. So for example, mine lists that we can't paint anyone with conjunctivitis, with a cold sore, with severe eczema, dermatitis, that sort of thing. It's here, it's in black and white in big bold letters. So they can't then join the queue, wait for an hour and a half and get to the front. You refuse to paint them and they say that they didn't know. It's here and they should read it. And it does say at the bottom, please consider the above points before joining the queue. Mine also says that children under 36 months that wish to be painted will need to have a very simple design, and if they can't sit still or they are clearly distressed, then we will stop the painting, even if we're halfway through. And it also says that anyone who's under 14 will need to have a parent or carer with them to grant permission before we paint them. That is entirely up to you whether you do that. I know some people won't paint under 3s, we do. Some people will paint over 14s without their parents, we don't. It's just however you want to do it. And it says the same thing on that one over there. Next on this board, I've got all the different designs that the children can choose from, or adults can pick. So there's lots of different ones on there. And then at the very bottom, I've got a little sign with our telephone number on and explains what sort of events we can go to. And then there's a small bio there of myself, which just explains how long I've been working for the company. It goes on about my YouTube channel, that sort of thing. Because it's just nice for someone to read when they're standing in the queue, a little bit of information for them. I don't have one of these on here, but, you know, I had a little bit of space to fill up, so that's why that's there. On my picture board, all the designs are individually stuck on. Again, that's so that if I change my mind and I want to add a few different designs, I can take them off on their own. I don't have to change the whole board, I can just change a few of the pictures, which is quite nice. I've got 20 different pictures on my board, which may not be very much to some of you. My mum has actually got two boards which are tied together, and she has got 40 pictures on hers because she likes to have a lot of choice. I like to keep mine quite simple. Again, it is just a matter of preference as to how many faces that you want to have. Now the boards themselves are plywood, which we got from our local B&Q, which is just a DIY store. It's not very expensive, I think it's about £20 a sheet, and the sheets are bigger than this. And it's really lightweight, which is good. You don't want to go for anything like MDF, which is really, really heavy. You're going to have to lug that around. The plywood is lovely and light. My stepdad cut them down to size for me, and I painted them black with just some black gloss. So they're quite shiny, which is nice. I think it's a satin wood finish, just in plain black. And then I designed these words, I just used Photoshop, I think, or Fireworks. I did it I think it's about 5 years ago, we've been using the same ones. You want to make sure that your font is nice and clear so the children can read it. Don't go for anything that's too scrolly, and make them really, really bold. Then what we did is, my mum printed these out for me actually, thank you Mum. And so she printed them out onto card, she laminated them, cut around them, and then they're just attached with some blue tack, so you can move them around. I've also seen people use Velcro, which is a good idea. However you want to do it, just stick them on. And yeah, that's it. So it's exactly the same with the photos. Again, we printed them out. I put them in a border. I've written what each one is underneath, printed it out onto card, and then she laminated them all, and they've just been stuck on with blue tack. I'm just going to stand up as well so you've got an idea of how tall they are. They're not massive. They come up to here on me, and they are really, really lightweight. We've also got a couple of holes drilled down the sides, and that's so we can either string some shoelaces through them and attach them together so you've got like a board that opens out, which is good because then it can stand up on its own. Mine, it just tends to get leant up against my table, so it doesn't need too much support. Another good thing about drilling the holes in is you can attach some string and then tie it to your table so that it doesn't blow over in the wind. Now we do actually sell these word cards on our website. There's all of these different words, and I think there's quite a few more as well. So go over there and check that out. They're not very expensive. You can also send us your logo and we'll print you a logo card to go at the top, and there's all the different pricing cards as well. So it makes life a lot easier. You can just go and buy a piece of plywood and stick it all on, or you can do it yourself. It's entirely up to you. We don't sell the photograph ones though, it's just the words. Now I'm going to go through the pros and cons of each of the boards. The word board is really good for those of you that are just starting out and are new to the industry. When you become a face painter, you don't have this booklet of 20 different designs for you to stick on your display board, and you can't use photos that other artists have done, or you shouldn't. It is very frowned upon in the industry. So for two reasons, I'm going to quickly explain that as well. You shouldn't use photos from other artists' work because one, it's not your work and it's not fair to that other artist who's probably worked for years and years and years to get their photos looking like that, for you to then just take them and use them as your own. And also two, your work won't look the same. It might be as equally as good as theirs, but it's not going to look the same, and you run the risk of leaving your customers disappointed. If they're going to look at the display board, which is someone else, and then look at the picture of themselves which you've painted, and the two don't look the same, then you might end up with some unhappy customers. So don't take people's work. You don't need to do it. You just need to get one of these boards here. Now with a word board, like I said, it's really good if you don't have your photos, which you won't. You can go out with one of these boards. It doesn't take long to set this up, and you can paint so many different designs from this. The joy of using words is you don't have to paint the same thing all the time. You can have 20 different flower designs, you can have 20 different puppy dogs, and you can master which design it is you want. When you're new, like I said, you don't know exactly how your designs are going to be. They're going to evolve, and it's nice to do it this way, because if you take a photo of your first puppy dog that you've ever done, stick it on your board, chances are in 3 months' time it's not going to look like that. You're going to have changed it, your technique's going to have improved, and then again the children aren't going to look the same as they do on the picture board. So if you use one of these, you can constantly improve your designs and work at it. Also, if you're at a really long event, say you're at a 6-hour event painting, you don't have to paint the same tiger all day long. You can change it up, you can do loads of different colours, you can practice different line work, loads and loads of different things, and you can also change the speed. So if you, in the morning, say you don't have a queue at all, and someone comes over to you and they would like a monster, you can spend 10 minutes on that child painting the monster because there's nobody else waiting. And then as the day progresses and your queue gets longer and longer, you can take different elements of the design out to make it shorter. And the person that gets painted at 4 o'clock with the 2-minute monster doesn't have anything to compare it to, and they don't know that at 10 o'clock that morning you were painting this beautiful elaborate monster mask, because they're not going to be stood next to each other generally. Once you become more established, you still may decide to go for a word board. I used this word board the whole season last year. I took it to every single event with me, and it was so helpful because I used loads and loads of different designs I'd had in my head that I hadn't been able to do previously the year before, because I was stuck with the same pictures all the time. So it really does allow for a lot of freedom. But once you have your set designs that you want to use, and you know that you don't want to change them, and you've managed to take some beautiful photos of them for your display, you can then go on to one of these. And the advantage of having this is it's much more eye-catching. People who walk past your stand or wherever you are will look at this and instantly know that that's where you're doing the face painting. Children will see it and they will drag their parents over to you. Whereas this, people could walk past you and not know what it is you're doing. There's no pictures to catch their eye and draw them in. Another advantage to using the word board is if you have a team of face painters like we do. Sometimes you're at an event on your own, but occasionally you'll go to an event where you're painting with another artist, and it's very difficult to get everyone's faces to match. So if you've got a board like this, it doesn't matter what they look like. Your tiger can be completely different to the other artist's tiger, because again, there's nothing for the children to compare it to. There's no wrong and there's no right. I think I've covered everything on the display boards, but if I've missed something out, please feel free to write me a comment either down here on YouTube or over on Facebook, and I'll try and get back to you. But yeah, good luck with your new displays. Tag me in any pictures that you do if you do anything similar to this, because I'd love to see it. And yeah, good luck!